and build those relationships. Number two, I wanted to see our married couples be stronger in their marriage. But more important than anything is number three. I wanted to see God get the glory for the relationships that we have. So we've done that. Through this book and through this study, we started in chapter 1, verse 1 and just started working our way through. And what we've seen so far, we started by looking at our attractions. Who are we attracted to? Who's attracted to us? And we realized there that if we're attracted to the wrong kinds of people, if God wouldn't be pleased with those that we're attracted to, we need to change something. We need to get closer to God so that attractions are what God would have us to be. But then through this love story, they went from attraction to where they knew that this was the one, and then they began that dating process. And through that we saw some very important things. But one of those things that we discovered in that is the world has it wrong. Mating is not for dating. We realize that the dating process is that time to get to know one another and become closer in that relationship. Knowing or figuring out that, hey, this is the one that we want to spend the rest of our life with. And then we saw as we went on through that these lovers in God's Word finally got married. And we saw the betrothal and we saw the wedding process and every part of that. And we learned from that things for our own marriages and how our marriages can be godly marriages. Then last week, we had the opportunity to go with these lovers onto their honeymoon. And we got to see intimacy in the marriage and what that looks like. And you know, I really wish with everything in me that it stopped right there. I wish that in our lives that it would start with the attractions, onto the dating to the marriage to the honeymoon. And it just never left that. But you know what? Life happens. We're people. We're human. We sin. And because of that, there's conflict. So, as we follow these lovers through God's Word, we come into chapter 5, and all of a sudden we realize it's not the honeymoon of chapter 4 anymore. There's a little bit of conflict taking place here. And from that, I want us to see what happens when there's conflict in our relationships. And as we do, I'm noticing something about folks. Folks handle conflict, married people, in their marriage relationship, handle conflict in different ways. There are those who deny the conflict. Oh, it's not what I'm thinking, it's not what I'm seeing, it's not what I'm experiencing, it'll go away, it'll get better, just deny it. If you turn your back on it, it'll go away. And you have those that there's problems within their marriage and they just totally deny it. There's nothing wrong. Then you have those who they don't deny it, they just try to hide it. At home, it might be total free-for-all. But then when they get in public, oh, we just love each other so much. You know, they can be fighting like crazy when they pull into the church parking lot. And they get out of the car and go, it's a pleasant day to be in the house of the Lord. They hide it. And they think because they hide it and nobody else sees it, that it's going to go away. So there are those who deny it. There are those who try to hide it. And there are those who deal with it. Maybe getting help. But they look at the conflict in their marriage. And folks, how many folks here have been married more than one day? Then you have seen conflict in marriage. You know, it's there. I wish it would have stopped with the honeymoon. But no, it goes on to conflict. And we know that conflict is part of that. So how do we deny it? Do we try to hide it? Or do we deal with it? We're going to see that this couple, they deal with it. Now we've worked our way up through this love story in chapter 5. And I'll warn all the rated M stuff is behind us. Well, we kind of get a glimpse of it again, but we've covered that. You remember it well. Well, we're not going to go back there today. Because a lot of times, we don't deal with the conflict. So I want us to see some things from this love story. I want us to continue in chapter 5 and work our way through. And truthfully, we're going to work our way through the rest of this book today. And I want you to see about 3 things. Number 1, I want you to see the honeymoon is over. The honeymoon is over. I'll tell you what, I decided that I wanted to go online, I wanted to find a news. There was somebody out there that had like the top 10 ways you know that the honeymoon is over. And I'm going to find those so I can read them to you. I found one, and it was just too raunchy to bring to church. All the rest that I found wasn't how you know the honeymoon's over. It's how do you deal with it once you know the honeymoon's over. Because we realize in marriage, there comes a time it's over. And as we follow these lovers through their attraction and their dating and their courtship and their marriage and their honeymoon. Oh, we saw great love. But then we come into chapter 5. And all of a sudden, honeymoon's over. They're having a little spat. Let's pick it up in verse 2. Chapter 5, verse 2. I sleep, but my heart waketh. It is the voice of my beloved that knocks, saying, Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled. For my hand is filled with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night. You notice how sweet he is? He comes to the door and he knocks. Open the door, my sister. My love, he goes through all 4 different things here. My sister, and it wasn't his sister. There wasn't nothing weird going on there. It was just a way of saying that his lover. So he said, open the door, my lover, my love, my dove, my undefiled. He's using all these special names he has for all these I've come in, it's been a long, hard day. Open the door. And guess what happens in verse 3? I've put off my coat. How shall I put it on? I've washed my feet. How shall I defile them? My beloved put in his hand by the hole of the door, and my bowels were moved for him. I rose up to open to my beloved, and my hands dripped with myrrh, and my fingers with sweet-smelling myrrh upon the handles of the lock. Lover comes knocking. Hey, baby. I've been out working all day. From the appearance here, it's late. She's already went to bed. So it's probably, a lot of commentaries guess midnight. He comes in now, he's out doing something. Maybe he's working in the fields. Maybe, for Solomon, he may have been surveying the kingdom. He may have been taking care of ruler things. And he comes in and knocks on the door. Baby. Now, don't get hung up with the idea because, he's coming and knocking on her door. You're thinking if they're married, they'll be in the same room. It wasn't necessarily the culture of that day. A lot of times what they would do is they would sleep in separate rooms. And the night that he was in the mood, then he would go and come to my room. And if he wasn't in the mood, he'd just go to bed. And so he comes and knocks on the door. But her response is, I already went to bed. I already got myself ready. I'm in bed, I'm covered up. It's warm here. Then she goes religious on it. She says, I've already washed my feet. If I'm going to get up and come and get dressed again and come and open the door and go to your room, I'm going to get my feet dirty. I'm going to have to wash my feet again. And really, this is a religious thing. She's trying to, God don't want me to do this. Because what she's saying is, to them, one of the things they did every night, well, it was the last thing that they'd wash their feet. It was kind of that picture of washing off all that defiled them before they went to bed. For us, we would say, praying and confessing our sin and asking forgiveness. And their picture was through the washing of their feet. So she's saying, I've already washed my feet. You don't want me to have to get up, get dressed again, and dirty my feet, because then I'll have to wash them again. The honeymoon is over. So we look at them and we think, So I thought, how can we relate that to today? How can we put that into married couples in Old Fields Baptist Church? Ball game went into extra innings. Finally, it's over. Turn off the TV. Wife already went to bed. She didn't like baseball anyway. Go to bed. Start crawling under the covers. She's been dozing. She had her ass up. Who won? You're thinking, she's awake. My team. Okay. 2 responses. Wide awake. Start to make a move. About the time that hand comes out of nowhere like Zorro. Wham! So he rolls over. Goes to sleep. We can relate to that, can't we? Lover come and knocked on the door. I already went to bed. I'm tired. It's been a long day. If you'd come to bed 2 hours ago when I went to bed. Honeymoon is over. You say, well, what's the problem? I mean, obviously here in these lovers, and we follow these lovers through a wonderful love story. But now there's a problem. You say, well, what's the problem? I can sum up the problem in one word. Selfishness. Selfishness. Now, the explanation of that selfishness is going to come from whoever side of the door you're on. Because if you're looking at it from the lady's point of view, she's going to say, he's being selfish because he wants sex on demand. He wants to come knock on the door, midnight or whatever time he thinks he's ready. And he's going to say, hey, baby. And he just expects me to go, what, sweetheart? So when we look at it from the woman's problem, she'll say, he's the selfish one. He's only thinking of himself. But then you go on the other side of the door. And to the one who's knocking. He's going to say the problem is selfishness. Because it's sex denied. She said, not tonight. I'm already in bed. What did she expect me to do? Leave the Pirates in the 7th inning just to come to bed? Hey, selfishness. But you know, unfortunately, according to what we've learned through God's Word, in a sense, both were being selfish. Neither one was really following what God would have them to do. Now, we know, being the guy, it didn't matter if it was 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Guy says, she said, come on, eat. Girl says, I was ready 2 hours ago. Where were you then? The problem. We can say selfishness. But the root of it, the honeymoon is over. Here's the thing. I'm watching some of these guys. We got guys sitting here this morning who are afraid to move. They are not nodding. They are not grinning. They're just sitting. You know why? We've been there. We can relate. So, okay, what do we do? There's a problem. There's conflict in the marriage. What do we do? That takes us to our second thing. I want you to see that our response shows our character. Our response shows who we really are. I want you to look here at the lover's response. Now, before we look at it in Scripture, I want you to think about something. There's two ways to respond here. I've come up with two. And I can put them into terms we all understand. You got a conflict. And you remember a couple of weeks ago when one of our teenagers was going to light the fire in the front? You know, he really wanted to. Well, if that fire were burning here today, and I had in my hand two different containers, we'd have to choose which one we used. With conflict, we choose. Do we have a fire? That's what conflict is. Do we pour gas on it? Or do we pour water on it? Now, here's what happens a lot. When there's conflict in marriage, we have married couples with the gas can. Because here's how we handle conflict. We take that little tiny conflict and we throw a little gas on it. Poof. So then the other one said, well, if you can do that, I got a better can. And then the next, and the next one lifted the roof off the house. And the next one exploded the neighborhood because we just keep getting bigger and bigger. We think the way to handle conflict is to throw gas on it. Or our other choice, do we put water on the fire? Because if we put water on the fire, what's that going to do? It's going to put it out. Oh, we don't want it to go out. You know, I heard somebody say one time, a marriage isn't a good marriage unless it has a good fight every week. No. We don't need extra stress in our lives. We have to choose. How do we respond? We got the fire. That conflict's there. And it might be over the issue of intimacy. It might be over anything. Do we pour gas on it? Or do we pour water on it? Let's look what happens if we pour gas on it. When we look at our response, what happens if we pour gas on it? Number one, we fall into the danger of getting angry and sinning. Ephesians chapter 4 says, be angry without sinning. So we can't be angry. We're just not allowed to sin. Why? Because when we sin, our sin then becomes the problem, not the conflict. You know, you ever had that time when you're trying to communicate something to somebody and you're trying to talk to them and they just aren't listening? And you're calmly explaining the situation and they're just not getting it. And so you maybe, to emphasize, you raise your voice a little bit, just so that they still get it. And you know, in the back of your mind is saying, just smack them once and then they'll listen. What if I did? You know, well, what if Daniel and I was having a conversation? Tell him what to do. He ain't listening. I tell him again, his mind's on somewhere else. I tell him the third time. But that time I'm like, BAM! Now what's the focus of the conversation? Not the conflict. When we use gas on the fire, we're in danger of anger with sinning. The Bible says that's wrong. Because it continues to escalate. One commentary looked at it, says it's like a tennis match. You know, tennis player takes the ball and lobs it over the net. What's the guy on the other side do? Hits it back. So then the guy who first lobbed it, what's he think he needs to do? Hit it back and hit it a little harder. So then the guy on the other side, what's he do? By that time that he's jumping in the air, you ever watch them on TV? They grunt. You know, it might have started with a lob, but then you hear them. That's what happens when we pour gas on it. You know, we have that danger of our anger becomes sin. And then the sin's got to be better than the other sin. You say, oh, Pastor Dan, we're Christian people. We wouldn't do that. Don't think that. I have Facebook too. I know better. Because some of us think that we need to take our love life to Facebook. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, we're now striking tennis balls over the internet. Our gas can's gotten huge. We've involved social media. That's what happens when we pour gas on it. We have conflict. We pour gas. But the second thing, we lose perspective. You ever notice what happens when you start to argue? All of a sudden, some little thing has happened, and you start to argue. Well, you always do that. Every time when this comes up, this is what happens. This is the fourth time we've had to address this. It happened last Christmas. It happened at Thanksgiving. It happened over the New Year's Eve. We continue to build that up. We totally lose perspective. Oh, we said we forgave them about those other ones, but we're in the middle of a fight. Here they come. Start clawing all the things out of our pockets. Now I remember when you did this. It was before we even met. But we're pouring gas on it. We lose the perspective of the conflict that's at hand. It's kind of like two fighters. Not professional fighters in a ring. Two bullies in school who go out and one of them just bumped into the other one. What'd you do it for? Because I wanted to. Well, you're not going to do it again. Who's going to make me? What army do you have? And then it just keeps growing and growing. And the next thing you know, it's on. I mean, these guys got to defend their honor. They got to slug it out. It's on right then and there. In our conflicts in marriage, we think that's what we have to do. All we're doing is pouring gas on it. So the fact that we have the conflict, do we pour gas on it? Or do we choose water? I want us to think about what happens when we choose water. Number one, when we choose water, we'll be guided by the Spirit. Well, we let God's Spirit guide us through that. I want you to notice what happens here in these lepers. He's come and he says, knocked on the door. She didn't come up the door. And it says, left his myrrh there. Maybe she's laying there in the bed. She can smell him. He doesn't put on that aftershave she likes. Maybe I was a little mean. Maybe I was a little hasty. And as we look through the rest of this chapter, she finds herself imagining him, picturing him, his eyes, his face, his neck, his muscles, his body, his legs. She gets up and goes to the door. When she comes to the door, look at verse 6. I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had drawn himself and was gone. My soul failed when he spoke. I sought him, but I couldn't find him. I called him, but he gave no answer. What's the guy did? He walked away. Hey, conflict was there. And he just walked away. We see him handling it in a much... Now, he was... If this is Solomon, he was the king. Now, he could have knocked the door down. He could have servants knock the door down. He could have ordered her in the name of the king. Get out of that bed, come open that door, and follow him to his chambers. She finally gets out of bed and comes and opens the door. He's gone. You know what he did? He chose to fight the fire with water. You know what happens when that person, they keep lobbing them insults at you like the tennis match. And you just hit it into the net. So they hit another one. You just hit it into the net. They hit another one. But then you just hit it in the net. But this time they're steaming. They crack one at you. You just hit it in the net. You refuse to hand it back to them. You know what's going to happen after a while? They will realize that they look like an idiot. And they're going to quit. It's how we fight conflict. We fight with water. He just walked away. And to do that, we have to be guided by God. If we think about it, if we're guided by the Spirit of God, what does Scripture tell us we have? The Spirit of God gives us love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. That's when we're guided by the Spirit. I have never once, in all the years that I've been married, had my wife to escalate a fight when I approached it with gentleness. Never once did it escalate. It didn't get blown out of proportion. We have to be guided by the Spirit. And that's what we see happen here. Letting God work through us. You say, well, how do I do that? It starts now before the conflict, spending time in His Word. Spending time in prayer. Letting God guide our life. But if we choose water, we're going to be guided by the Spirit. The second thing I want you to see is it'll allow God to work on your spouse. You read through the rest of chapter 5 this afternoon. Because here's what you'll find. She was out searching for him. But look at verse 7 before we get there. The watchmen that went out about the city found me. They smote me. They wounded me. The keepers of the wall took away my veil from me. All of a sudden she realizes, I shouldn't have done that. She goes and he just walked away. He wasn't going to stay there and fight. He wasn't going to keep taking his can and throwing gas on the fire. I wasn't going to get anywhere. He left. She goes looking for him. She's searching for him. She goes outside and the watchmen of the city find her out running around like a mad woman calling for her lover. And says that they called her. They're kind of rough with her. The picture that we have there isn't the watchman beating up on this lady. It's a picture of God dealing with us in our sin. When we let God handle it, God will do so much better. And we're not there throwing fuel on the fire. The water, it's being guided by the Spirit. And it's allowing God to work for us. Just back off. Letting God do that work in our spouse. So, Pastor Dan, I can relate to this guy. The other night, I'd been up and fell asleep on the couch or in my chair. I woke up and she'd already went to bed and I crawled in. She didn't notice her only 3. She was up and didn't move. I can relate. But let's let God deal with that. Lord, maybe things isn't what I think they should be in the intimacy of my marriage. Maybe things isn't what I think they should be in other avenues. Lord, he gets all upset over these little things. Or she picks on the tiniest things. How about if we give it to God? Let's let Him deal with that. We're guided in the Spirit. We allow God to work on our spouse. But I want you to see something else. I want you to see what happens, or the advantage to letting God handle it when we keep things in perspective. She goes out through, God's taking care of it. And she begins to see it through another perspective. When we let God handle it, what were we really fighting over? Most marriage fights aren't over big things. Matter of fact, almost none of them are. There are little tiny things. He didn't put the toilet seat down again. And while we're talking about, he didn't replace the roll of toilet paper. He didn't pick his socks up. And the list goes on and on and on. It's little tiny things. When we begin to let God handle it, we see how small those are. We realize it's not worth ruining a marriage over the toilet seat. I had a lady come to me, it's been about a month ago now, and out in the community, and she said, I just really need to talk to you. I said, what's the matter? She said, I'm having struggle with my husband. He's the most inconsiderate person I know. He's just being inconsiderate about everything. I said, really? I said, let's tell me about it. She said, he's doing the same dumb stuff my last husband did. I said, well, you know, how many times have you been married? Well, this one's number 3, and he's soon to be gone. I said, well, you know, tell me what's wrong. You know, tell me what he's doing. Well, long story made short, she said, he is just as inconsiderate as the last one. Every time I go to the bathroom, toilet seat is standing right up. He said, he never bothers to put the toilet seat down, and I'm just not going to take it anymore. I said, ma'am, you ever heard of reverse psychology? Well, yeah. I said, you willing to try it on him? She said, well, maybe. I said, instead of fussing about him not putting the seat down, reverse it on him. Every time when you're finished, raise the seat back up. See what that does. She looked at me for a moment. She goes, I'll try it. I'll try it. I'll start as soon as I get home, and I'll try it. I left her thinking I might have saved the marriage, but I sure helped some poor guy out a little bit. But isn't it often the little things? But when we let God handle it, we're able to see that it's the little things. We keep it in perspective. And when we're letting God handle it, it brings me to the third thing I want us to see real quick. I want us to see God working in their marriage. I want you to see, you need to read chapter 6 as well. Because in chapter 6, look at verse 1. Whither is thy beloved going, O thou fairest among women? Whither is thy beloved turned aside that we may seek him? And my beloved is going down to his garden, to the bed of spices, to feed in the gardens and gather lilies. I am to my beloved, and my beloved to mine. He feeds among the lilies. So all of a sudden she thinks, I know where he's at. She's realized, maybe I was hasty. She's repented. Now she's going to him, and when he sees her, he knows something's changed. Because look at verse 4. Thou art beautiful, beloved, as Tirzah, comely as Jerusalem, terrible as an army with banners. And he goes on to look at her in the same way that we saw him looking at her before when they were married. Talking about how beautiful she is. Because God was at work, God changed her heart. That led to forgiveness. That led to a desire for him again. And when she come to him, he knew it was different. I wish I could tell you it always stays in chapter 4. That was the wedding night. But let's face it, when there's marriage, there's going to be conflict. We just know it's going to happen. If it happened to these lovers, then it's bound to happen to us. So my question is to you, I want to ask you married folks, from here on out, how are you going to handle it? Maybe up until this point, you had the biggest can of gas in the neighborhood. And every time, you just kept throwing it on. From here on out, how are you going to handle it? Maybe today, you just need to go to God and say, help me use water. How many be guided by your Spirit? How many let you handle it, Lord? Help me use water. Because when we use gas, it never ends well. What are you using for your conflict? You say, well, I'm not married. Well, we all have relationships. How do we handle the conflict there? Do the same principles that apply to conflict in marriage apply to all life? Do we fight it with gas? Or do we fight it with water? You know, for the last 5 weeks, we've been going through quite a love story. So as we close this morning, I want to ask you some questions. Question number 1. Who are you attracted to? As a single, who are you attracted to? Is that pleasing God? Or does something need to change in you? Dating. Are you following the world's rules for dating? Or God's? I challenge you, teenagers, to begin to ask God who He has for you. And wait on God to answer. Marriage. Are we letting God lead us in our marriage? You know, when I got married, we did this little symbol thing. 2 little candles on the outside and 1 in the middle. And after we lit them, a lot of folks say you blow the outside ones out, it's 2 becoming 1. Not in our marriage. We left the big one lit and the little one's lit. Because in the marriage, I'm a little one. She's a little candle. But God's the big one in the center. And if God's not in our marriage, He needs to become there today. So is God in your marriage? Intimacy. Are we following God's guidance for intimacy? Or are we following our own selfishness? And lastly, how are we handling the conflict? Maybe today, or even throughout these last 5 weeks, God spoke to you about your relationships. And there's a change He wants you to make. We're going to sing a song. So we sing that final hymn. I'm going to ask you just right where you're at. Go to God in prayer. And allow Him to make that change. Confess their sin, turn from it, and follow Jesus. Maybe you're here this morning and out of the Song of Solomon, God spoke to you about a Jesus who loves you, who died for you, and gave His life for you. And you want to surrender your life to Him today. And I ask you to come as we sing. Maybe you have a burden. Something that has nothing to do with your relationship. But you want to bring that to God. Then come and kneel at this altar. But let God have His way in our lives today. Father, thank you for your word. Thank you, Lord, for every person here. Lord, as you speak to our hearts, I pray that we respond. Do we say yes to whatever you want to do in our lives? In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please stand as we sing page 294.